Hi, I'm Jason Barron. I own my farm by Wisconsin Rapids in Wood County. I'm on dry land sand and I farm beef and pigs. I finish beef and pigs for direct to consumers. I rotationally graze. This will be my third year rotationally grazing, and this year the change I did was I've moved to daily moves on most of my paddocks, so the cows move to a new piece every day. And this piece that they just got moved on to is over knee high for mid-September. And this is a piece they just came off of that they grazed for one day. It's about the residue I try to leave to armor the soil and keep it protected, and also try to let the grass regrow so much faster when you leave that much residue. Some other conservation practices I've been doing is no-tilling. Not quite full no-till yet, but in 2020 I no-tilled hay seeding into sorghum stubble in August, and last few years I've been no-tilling rye into silage stubble after September chopping of corn silage. Tomorrow I'll be planting oats and peas into silage stubble, and also some rye into some other stubble. As far as alfalfa stubble, that's just needing to get tilled up next year and go into corn, and then also some silage stubble that's going to go into rye. Really hoping a goal for my lifetime would be to double my organic matter on my farm. The farm's been in my family for 96 years, and I'm hoping to go from a 2% organic matter on dryland sand to 4% by going more no-till. I'm hoping to get the corn planter converted to no-till also, and also plant more annual cover crops so I can graze longer into the fall and maybe even into partway into this winter. If I can graze more months of the year, I would be able to cut costs, and in the current climate we're in, we need to cut costs if we're raising livestock. When I rotationally graze them like I am daily, they've been eating the weeds so much better than if you just give them too big of a paddock. And also the grass regrows so much faster if you give it 30 days rest. Out here I've got two different kinds of grasses and clover and alfalfa. And the mixes I'll be putting in next year will actually be over 16 species in that mix of different kinds of grasses, legumes, and forbs. Also in my garden I've been putting cover crops in there for many years, usually rye, but rye can be hard to kill, so I've been planting more of oats and peas now, where it will winter kill and won't have to worry about that crop coming back next year. But it's still holding a lot of your nutrients through this winter, but then also building your organic matter up. Have a great day.
Hi, we are Joe and Kristen Birschbach. We are Calumet County Farm Bureau members. We own and operate 7 Star Cattle LLC, where we rotationally graze our cow-calf herd, as well as raise corn, soybeans, wheat, and forage, exclusively no-till along with cover crops. We also farm along with my parents in Calumet County, where we again no-till corn, beans, wheat, and alfalfa. And because of my former job being a nutrient management planner for many farms in Calumet County, I am also currently the advisor for Calumet County Ag Stewardship Alliance. We are members of Sheboygan River Progressive Farmers because we are directly on the headwaters of the Sheboygan River.
Since we farm on the headwaters of Sheboygan River, we implement a grass buffer strip along the river to help with erosion control.
We also use cover crops to help keep the soil in place, as well as use that feed off the cover crops for our winter feed for our cattle.
We also rotationally graze all of our cattle. Currently we have rotationally grazing on 26 acres, 25 cow-calf pairs, moving them daily to weekly depending on the time of the year.
We are also working with NRCS to put in some grass waterways on our highly erodible land to keep the topsoil in place.
We are currently participating in a soil health assessment program with Fond du Lac County Land and Water.
We love to see something green growing on all acres at all times as much as possible.
The way we do that is by use of cover crops. These cover crops help us produce our winter feed for our cattle.
We also use cover crops to hold our topsoil in place on our highly erodible land and to increase our organic matter.
With our rotational grazing, we're able to gain more grazing days and have better utilization of the grass that we are growing.
And overall, we are seeing ourselves use less inputs to make more feed on the same amount of acres. We have measured our success by comparing our soil samples and seeing an improvement there, as well as getting more tonnage off the same amount of acres.
The ultimate success for us is not to be sustainable now, but to be sustainable for our future generations that are going to run this land. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Heather Erdman, and this is my husband, Steven. We have 4 children, Hayden, Haley, Hadley, and Holden. Our 4th generation farm is located in Augusta, Wisconsin. We currently serve on the Eau Claire County Farm Bureau Board, where I am the YFA chair. We own and operate a sustainable beef and grain farm where we are looking for innovative ways to preserve and improve our family farm for generations to come.
On our farm, we use many precision practices to preserve a sustainable environment. In the spring of each year, we start off by providing our soil with key nutrients using GPS technology to ensure on-target application. When soil conditions are right, we use a no-till corn planter to plant directly into standing cover crops. Shortly after planting, we use auto-steer technology and low-drift nozzles to terminate the cover crop that's there. When switching to beans, we use vertical tillage to manage residue left from the previous crop. By using this minimal tillage practice, it sizes residue and helps to warm the soil for an ideal seed bed. Beans are then planted using a drill guided by GPS for precise seed placement. Each year after we harvest soybeans, we use our no-till drill to plant cover crops. Our typical cover crop is rye. Cover crops are used to reduce soil erosion, regulate moisture in the spring. It is also beneficial to soil health by building organic matter. Cover crops also provide us with the ability to harvest a small amount each year, providing us with the seed to plant the following fall. And in certain circumstances, we can graze our cattle on these cover crops in the spring.
On the cattle end of our farm, we recently completed a project where we worked with the City of Augusta, the DNR, and NRCS. This water quality trading project included many different improvements to our operation. Some of these improvements were installing a zero erosion cattle lane, installing a large water run to control the runoff water, and a 3/4 mile stream bank restoration. We also installed fences to limit the cattle's access to the stream.
Our goal as a family farm is to make decisions about our practices that improve soil health and water quality. The biggest investment you ever make as a farmer is the land you buy. Operating our family farm, raising kids, crops, and cattle is what keeps us going. Seeing the passion our children have for the land, our cattle, and farming in general is all we need to continue to put in hard work and countless hours to make sure this legacy will still be here in the years to come for their families, just like ours. Since we have started implementing cover crops, no-till, minimal tillage practices, the soil erosion has been greatly minimalized. We have also noticed an increase in soil health, which can be seen on the yield monitor maps every year in the combine. This gives us the sustainable economics to continue our operation for the future.
Hi, I'm Josh Joseph. I farm here in Richland County as members of the Richland County Farm Bureau with my wife Kristen and son Lane. We're located near the small town of Ithaca where we have 250 head of sheep. We were looking at how we could be more sustainable within our agriculture, and sheep became a good fit. Here, our feeding system is key to our sheep production system. After lambing in the spring, our sheep are turned out in the perennial pastures on different types of topography, from lowlands up to the high hills of Richland County. We also, after the grazing season comes to a near an end, we take and we graze cover crop here in this field that I'm standing in. This was planted after we took oats off, and it's a mix of forage oats and a forage rape. This product will stay bright green into winter and will yield tremendous tonnage. This feed will continue to carry our ewes through until probably about Christmas time, where we'll take this field and set it up with temporary fencing and use it to strip graze down the field, helping to reduce erosion. After the sheep come off in the wintertime, we'll go back into lambing. We use our forage system to help preserve agriculture because of our hillside here. We're on the side of a hill where we farm, so we are primarily forages, where we grow alfalfa, hairy vetch, red clover, and peas to help reduce our fertilizer needs. Some of the improvements we've made on our farm included improving flock genetics so we can sell more lambs. And we also have a goal to hopefully be able to someday sell everything off the farm either via a lamb or in a wool bag. By only selling off our farm via lamb and wool, we're keeping our nutrients here on the farm versus exporting them off, helping to close the system. Also, by having our sheep graze from starting in mid-April on perennial pastures all the way till Christmas with our fall grazing here of cover crops, we're also able to let the sheep do all their own harvesting without the use of fossil fuels through that entire season. They're also hauling their own manure and require less bedding. We look forward to what we can continue to do to improve our operation from a sustainability method, but we're going to continue to work on forages because without a good forage system, our farm will not be sustainable today or into the future. It's really critical. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Zach Kennecke. My wife Rachel and I are the fourth generation on Liberty Land Farms. We're located in central Manitowoc County, Valders, Wisconsin. We milk 350 cows with 5 Lely robots. We also cash crop and run about 1,200 acres. On the side of that, I also do custom planting. So one of the big focuses and goals of Liberty Land Farms is preserving our environment. So we're looking at different ways that we can always better ourselves and better our soil health and quality of the ground. Right now we're out in what was a wheat field that we put a cover crop in on. So we're looking at 30 pounds of barley and 30 pounds of wheat per acre. So here at Liberty Land, we're not only looking at ways that we can preserve water and soil quality out in the field, we're also looking at ways that we can preserve water around the farm other places. So one big area is on the feed pad here. How we're doing that is we installed this new catch system that will catch any juices that flow out of the feed pile and any dirty water that may come from the feed face. That is being caught inside this trench and then put into the manure system. As you can see here, our plastic goes over the top of this trench. So any water that comes from rain that drops on top of the plastic, that's diverted off and let back into the ground. We've actually done the math out. We're saving about 1 million gallons worth of water a year that is not being put into our manure pits. That's going back into the ground and into circulation. So this is a corn silage field that we harvested over the weekend. This will get a cover crop spread on it. It'll get manure at 14,000 gallons an acre spread over the top. And within a week or two, we'll see a nice, beautiful cover crop field out here. So one way that we're kind of tracking and keeping an eye on how this is benefiting us, we're out here every year pulling soil samples, tissue samples, checking organic matter, just to see how many nutrients we're putting back in the soil. And then we're going and showing these results at our field demo days that we host every year. Seeing that we're part of the Between the Lakes Demo Farm program, every year we're having a field day out here and just kind of showing everyone what we're doing, what's working for us, what hasn't worked for us, and ways that we can try and improve and get better in the future. My main responsibilities here at Liberty Land Farms are taking care of the crops and making sure the cows get fed. And it really all starts here in the field. If we can have healthy soil, that'll give us healthy crops, which gives us healthy cows. I'm really looking forward to the future of how much research and development we can do to further ourselves and further our community to make sure that this land is available for future generations.
Hi, my name is Adam Kolb, and my farm is located in Cleveland, Wisconsin. I am part of the Manitowoc County Farm Bureau. I run a farming operation that grows corn, soybeans, wheat, and alfalfa. I also operate a custom farming business and provide agronomy consulting and nutrient management planning. Today I'm standing in a pollinator habitat that I recently planted on my farm in an area that was not being utilized. In addition to this conservation practice, I also incorporate cover crops and no-till planting practices into my cropping rotation. I have served on a farmer panel sharing my experiences with cover crops and no-till planting, at a county cover crop conference in the past. For the farms I consult for, I try to find ways we can implement reduced tillage on fields prone to erosion, use cover crops, best optimize manure applications, and achieve better nitrogen management in their corn. The goal on my farm is to continue no-tilling crops as much as I can and utilizing cover crops to improve soil health. I have this similar goal for the farms I provide field services and consulting for. I have invested in corn planters and grain drills capable of no-till planting so that I can help more farms establish crops this way. Better soil health and advances in machinery technology and capability drive me to keep innovating. I think most farms in the near future will have the opportunity to sell carbon credits, and that keeps me experimenting with how we raise crops and manage the land in a regenerative way. The results of these practices have led to better soil structure, better natural weed suppression, and soil that is more resistant to compaction. One of the most rewarding parts of what I've done so far is planting cover crops and no-tilling field crops for other farms and watching them turn from skeptics to believers after they witness it succeed on their own farm.
Hi, my name is Ryan Ripp. We farm with Ripp Farms, Lodi, Wisconsin. Partnership with my family where we raise heifers for a dairy. We also raise corn, soybeans, alfalfa, and wheat. We are members of the Dane County Farm Bureau. We are also members of the Yahara Pride, the watershed group led in Madison with farmers. So what we do here on Ripp Farms, our goals, we're a very critical spot where our farms lie. One of our farms is in the Yahara watershed, where that goes to the Madison chain of lakes. The other farm is in the Columbia County area, where it is the Lodi Spring Creek, the Lodi Creek, the Lake Wisconsin watershed. So for us, it's very crucial to keep our soil in place where we're at, keep the nutrients where they're at. We enjoy a lot of the lakes and streams and going out with the kids. So our big thing is keeping the soil in place, keeping the nutrients there. So what we've done kind of on these farms is we've cover cropped some. We used to use it for a forage. We are now using it more than just a forage. Our goal was to try just take small plots and see where it led, plant green into it, see how the corn came up through it. And from our trials, we've learned that, we're not seeing a big yield reduction. However, we're seeing a herbicide reduction. We're using less herbicides. So at the end of the day, they're not going anywhere. We're keeping it here on the farm. Another aspect of what we've done down here is we've added tile lines on our buffer strips. So on these little hillsides, we put in terraces with a tile line, so that way it's not eroding the face of that soil down the hill and plugging waterways or going into that stream. So that tile line is taking that water underneath the ground, so we're not eroding there. The other portion of what we're doing is a lot of no-till practicing. So with the cover crop, we're letting that rye get the roots in really deep, and we don't have to go across it with a tillage pass. So it's saving us fuel, it's saving us time, labor, wear and tear on the equipment, but then we can go in with the planter and set that up like we have now. We've improved a lot of our planter a lot with different no-till options, and we can go in and plant that green where we're not having any issues there. So how do we measure success on this farm? One, we got the bushels in the bin, all the projects that we laid out, did they have a return on investment? Yes or no? It's pretty easy that way. How do we measure it on the other side? Well, knowing that cover crop, that tile line prevented erosion, leaching, less herbicide use, no tilling, that's saving on the fuel side and the environmental side. So it goes hand in hand together for us. So we're just trying to maximize that and make it more sustainable for everyone.
Hi, I'm TJ Roth, and this is Christy Roth. Standing in front of Banner Ridge Farms, our 500 cow dairy, and we crop 1,650 acres in Grant County and beautiful rolling hills. For the past 3 years, I've been working really strongly with our nutrient management planner. And when I started, every acre got a full rate of conventional fertilizer, but now to this point,
of this 1,200 acres of corn that we grow, only 300 are actually getting commercial fertilizer.
We use a multi-species cover crop behind our corn silage. This year is including cereal rye and tillage radishes that we'll apply in about a week. We just finished chopping. Some of the other things that we do is we use a low disturbance toolbar to inject our manure, claim all the nitrogen credits and reduce leaching. I'm standing in a field of corn silage that was planted on 15-inch rows. The purpose of doing that is to increase tonnage and grain yield, but also it helps us reduce our chemical use. We are able to cut off the second pass as long as we put a longer residual down on our first pass. And it has paid off for the past 4 years that we've been doing it. I am able to reduce our purchase fertilizer cost by, at the moment, we're down 56%. My goal is to be down by 75% by the end of this year. A few years ago, we hosted a Water Matters tour put on by professional dairy producers of Wisconsin. It was here and a neighboring farm, Keeler Farms. And we talked about our conservation practices, our no-till, our waterway management. Our motto at Banner Ridge Farms is Faith Family Farm, and my goal is to leave this farm better than I found it.